Welcome to the Friday Game Night Pick'em Show here on AccessWDUN.com. Bo Wilson alongside Jeff Hart. Seth Chapman behind the microphone over there.
I'm doing finger guns to you.
He's
but
actually
I should be
in front
doing
or
them.
behind the camera. And then Caleb, who is in our mobile studios at his home.
somewhere hidden
Mobile
in South Hall.
With a fan going this time, too.
The fan is going. And by the way, Gwen earlier today really got us hungry.
Oh, my gosh.
On the Thanksgiving meal prep.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to go eat before we did the show.
Before
That's
lunch.
right.
Yeah, no. That's,
I mean, we've all eaten since then, right?
yep, that's why we had to go eat. It was
So-
Gwen's fault
so
for
Caleb-
bringing up Thanksgiving.
Marshmallows in your sweet potato souffle.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
a baked sweet potato. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
100%.
Well,
Favorite
they
thing-
don't go in it. They don't go in it. They go on top of it.
Well, that's what I meant. On
rapid
top.
fire favorite Thanksgiving food. Caleb first.
Boom.
Dressing.
Jeff.
Dressing.
Bo.
Dressing.
Turkey. I actually like the turkey more than dressing.
That explains.
I like a turkey leg.
That's why you're
It's
in
very
last.
fitting for
That's
you,
why
Seth.
you're in last place in the picks.
By the
right
way,
there.
speaking of the Pick'em Show,
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
this guy, the
Which-
one that I'm pointing to, this guy,
that one.
perfection.
Oh,
Perfection.
Perfect.
yeah.
In what way?
Perfection.
In what way?
15-0 in my picks last week. 15-0. Picked up 2 more games on
He
Caleb.
paid off the bookie, folks.
5-game lead.
Look, he paid off the bookie. That's the only way I can explain that.
Jeff, aren't you the bookie pretty much?
Well, no.
Yeah,
I'm just
you're
keeping,
pretty much the
Well,
bookie.
I'm just keeping
Did Bo
score.
pay you
Yeah,
off?
you're the one we're coming after. You're the one we're investigating when this is all over, Jeff. I wouldn't be talking too much about this.
Wow.
The investigation begins as soon
Yeah,
as
but
it's
see,
over.
Your word
here's
needs
the-
to be mum,
Here's the
Jeff.
beauty. Here's the beauty of it. See, I'm not anywhere near first place. So, what are you going to investigate me for?
Yeah, you're
Who cares
right.
if you win? Bo's paying you.
No, I'm just that good.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
So, Jeff, share with us the pick. the
So
standings.
Bo was 15-0. Caleb was 13-2,
Ah.
and Seth and I were 10-5.
Okay, what were the
What were the 2 that I lost?
You know what? I have
North
closed
Forsyth
out
and
that
Lumpkin
file.
County.
I've closed out that
It
file.
was North Forsyth and Lumpkin, wasn't it?
Yeah, that I think so.
I took North Forsyth, didn't I?
I don't have it called up right now on which one that was. I could open it up, but I don't know if that's.
This
Maybe-
is
maybe
highly
you did
suspicious.
Maybe you did take North Forsyth. Why don't you open it up real quick? Let's take a
Oh,
look.
Lord have mercy. See, this is why we can't get this show done.
What do you mean? We're doing the show now.
This is the show.
Oh,
this is the show.
This is
This
the
is the
show.
Technical
show.
difficulties.
This is the show.
Yeah.
I got
While
you.
you're looking that up, this
Yes.
week we have 13 teams in the playoffs. First
That's
round.
called a baker's dozen.
A baker's dozen, sure. But anyway,
What some have known as a baker's dozen.
Because
Just-
bakers can't count, apparently.
yeah, apparently, yeah. So 13 teams are
It's
baker's
because it's a baker's
dozen.
gift. It's a baker's gift. So they give you one extra and call it a dozen. It's a gift from the
Yeah, that's
baker.
what they told you. They didn't want to
Okay,
say
here
that.
we go.
They were too embarrassed. They didn't know how to count to 12.
They're-
They didn't want to tell you that.
They could- wait, but they can count to 13, or did they just not know if there were 12 in there?
Okay, so here were Caleb's 2 picks that he missed. Let's see here. I got to look for him here. Oh man, did I get this wrong? He picked North Hall,
Ah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I
Yeah.
knew it was a North.
and he did pick Lumpkin.
There you go.
So
yeah.
there you go.
So, well, I'm glad we figured that out. All right, let's get
I had to
it.
call. I had to do a quick text to Guido to let me know. What was going on.
Let's get to it as usual to start the show. Week 12, last week of the regular season. What impressed you the most, Jeff?
Oh man, what impressed me most? Cherokee Bluff. Last year they were in that exact same spot and kind of laid the egg against White County. White County had a lot. They didn't really have a lot to play for as far as seeding, but you want to go in on a high note. They hadn't played very well. It would have been an opportunity for them to kind of finish the season really strong. And North Hall Cherokee Bluff just really took it to them. I think that was the thing that probably impressed me the most last week.
To me, it was Dawson County and mainly the Dawson County defense. I mean, I think if we had said Dawson County won that game against North Hall last week, I think most of us in this room would have, or in this chat, I should say, I'm in a different room, but most of us would have said that, it was probably a 38-35 kind of game. Dawson County has won games like that against North Hall in the past. And last year, this was a little bit of a shootout. But instead, no, they held that North Hall wing tee attack that did pretty good work against Cherokee Bluff the week before, held them to 8 points, held them to under 100 yards rushing. North Hall had to throw the ball a lot, which is something they do not want to do. If you get North Hall throwing the ball 13, 14 times a game, you're in good shape because you put North Hall in an uncomfortable situation. And that's what Dawson County's defense did. It wasn't stunning that Dawson County beat North Hall. It was stunning how effective they were defensively in that game.
I would agree with that.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with everything you just said about that game, which was very interesting to see North Hall have some success, though, in the passing game. I think the 125 yards, which they're probably going to need in the first round of the Class 3A playoffs, and that's kind of where we're going to start today, looking at that North Hall at Carver Atlanta game. It's Region 7 versus Region 5 in Class 3A. They travel down to Henderson Stadium, which is the old Grady Stadium down in Atlanta, to take the number 2 seed on. And Carver, I think, either ranked 7th or 8th in Class 3A. This one, guys, Caleb's going to be an interesting game from the standpoint of, can North Hall's wing tee kind of mess up Carver's plans?
Well, to me, North Hall's got to get up off the mat here a little bit. I haven't been around the team. I haven't talked to Coach Bishop since before the Cherokee Bluff game. So I know you did, Bo, before the Dawson County game. But North Hall, to me, you have that kind of game against Cherokee Bluff where it looked like, I think everybody in that stadium thought, hey, North Hall's on their way to a region title here. They were up 14-0 early. And then it was just a handful of plays here and there cost you the game. And it just looked, and again, I wasn't with the team. I don't know what their emotional state was going into that game. It just did not look like the North Hall team we had seen down the stretch this year in Dawsonville Friday night. If the North Hall that showed up in the first half against Cherokee Bluff shows up at Henderson Stadium, then I think North Hall can beat Carver Atlanta. I really do. But if the North Hall that showed up in Dawsonville last week shows up, no way they win that football game. That, to me, is what this is about. What North Hall do we get Friday night? That is what's going to decide it, I think.
I talked to David, for preview that we've got on Access WDUN that I put on earlier in the week. And, North Hall has been outscored since that 14-0 lead against Cherokee Bluff, 54-18. Defense is really more the issue, more than the running game. Because they've lost so many pieces throughout the season, and that's kind of what I focused on in the story. I mean, they've lost, Caleb, over 100 games due to injury this year, or around 100 games. I mean, that's just an incredible amount of games that you lose out of your roster. I mean, that's if you take 10 players and you miss a whole season, and you only got 40, maybe 50 guys. I mean, that's a lot of games. And yet they pieced together a 6-4 season. They had the region championship. It was there for the taking, and I look, Cherokee Bluff played very, very well after the first quarter in that game, and I think they kind of changed up some stuff. North Hall popped some huge runs. They couldn't get much going against Dawson County because I agree with both of y'all. That Dawson County defense is probably the most improved unit in the area, no matter what team you're talking about. Look at where they started at the beginning of the year and where they finished. That Dawson
held Cherokee Bluff to 21 points.
Yeah, that Dawson defense has really stepped up. So that being said, when you look at this particular game, the two keys that Coach Bishop told me is we've got to control the ball, we got to keep their offense off the field, and he says if they can make 3 or 4 stops on defense, he can win the game. They can do that because here's why I think that they have a real shot. Jeremiah Teenlander, we saw what he did almost individually against Cherokee Bluff and a good offensive line.
Yeah.
He was a one-man wrecking crew in that game, 15 tackles, and I think they underreported. I really do. Yeah. And about half of those were for loss. Teenlander himself has 32 tackles for loss on the season. This is the kind of game that he's built for. He loves these kind of run, and Carver Atlanta, for all their offense, they're a run-oriented team out of the spread. This is the kind of game right here where Teenlander's going to have some room to roam. And I'm going to tell you, I think he can make a real impact. This is a matchup that's actually not that bad for them. That's a powerhouse region over there. But this is the one matchup I think that they have a real good shot They're going to have to play their best game of the year, and they're not going to be able to make a lot of the mistakes. Penalties have been an issue. So I think that's the two keys. They got to, they're going to have to get that ground game and control it. But I also see, Thielander had 5 catches, almost 100 yards last week, popping the passing game here or there in that game with Thielander, who is a big dude. He is hard to tackle.
Well, one thing that I don't think we've discussed is the fact that Bluff played Carver in the second round last year, and that was at Bluff. Granted,
right,
home field. 23-21, Bluff had an opportunity to win that game.
Right.
Couldn't get it done. How much better is Carver this year than last year? I have no clue.
I don't know that.
But what I do know is North Hall, when they are playing like they're capable, no matter what personnel is on the field, they are really good. So I like the chances of North Hall in this game. However, they cannot have a repeat performance like they had against Dawson.
Oh, no.
They cannot have some of the segments of the game against Cherokee Bluff to repeat in that, because let's face it, against Dawson and against Bluff, North Hall shot themselves in the foot so many times that they lost those 2 games. And also, the offense for North Hall last week could not get it rolling. So that's going to be the biggest key for North Hall in this one this week. I don't know if I can pick North Hall in this one for the road game, so I'm going to go with Carver Atlanta in this one. I'll start the picks.
Look, I've kind of, since I talked to...
That was all lead up.
Yeah.
That was all lead up.
Yeah.
Since I, talking to Coach Bishop, he told me a lot of the things that were going on. They had a lot of tragedy. They've had a lot of personnel changes. It was almost like chess moves, putting this guy here, putting this guy there. This is a very...
Who you picking?
This is a winnable game. But I think because he's mentioned they have to have 3 or 4 stops. If they only get 2 stops, I don't think they can win the game.
Who you picking?
I'm going to go with Carver, but I think North Hall... Look, if North
Caleb,
Hall
who
wins
you picking?
Boy, you just cut me
I'm
off right
taking
now.
Carver.
Dang.
You taking Carver? Who you picking?
I'm gonna go for the outlier, and I'm gonna go with my hometown Trojans.
You just don't want to get yelled at again.
No, I don't. That's not the only reason. That's not the only reason. It's a large reason, but it's not the only reason.
Okay.
That's funny.
I think I agree with y'all. Like, I think if Thielander shows out, then
I think
they're
North
gonna have
Hall can win
themselves
the
one
game.
heck of a game.
Yeah. I think North Hall
Kevin
can win the game.
Rochester has to have a big game.
That as well.
Big game.
Seconded.
And the other deal with that, if they do get behind, it's tough for them to come back. So, but I think North Hall could win the game. Sticking in Class 3A and Region 7 3A, GAC hosting, or Cherokee Bluff hosting GAC. And this one is a game of interest because I think the record's like 38-1 for GAC over, current 7 3A teams. However, the one team in 7 3A that does not have a massive history with Greater Atlanta Christian, doesn't have that, oh my God, it's GAC, is Cherokee Bluff, Caleb. I mean, do you think that's going to play a factor into this game? I don't think it does for Bluff. I think it's just another game. But what do you think?
The seniors on this Cherokee Bluff team were sophomores last time they played GAC. The sophomores on this team were not even around the last time they played GAC. I don't think there's going to be any intimidation in this game, but I do think Cherokee Bluff's going to have to play very well because despite GAC's record, they play in what I think either Region 5 or Region 8. It's the toughest region in Class AAA right now. So, GAC has been through the ringer schedule-wise. They have seen it all. It's going to be a tough team. It's going to be a tough game for Cherokee Bluff. They're going to have to run the ball better than they did against North Hall. They're going to have to play really well defensively. I think they can do it. I think Cherokee Bluff can win the game, and I think they're going to win the game. I'll take Cherokee Bluff in a tight one, but it is going to be a pack your lunchbox type of game. It's going to be a physical game for 4 quarters over at the Bluff.
Look, Jeff, I believe in Cherokee Bluff and what they're doing right now. I mean, you talked about what they did against White County. That was your surprise of the week, or what impressed you the most of Week 12. GAC coming in here to Cherokee Bluff thinking that they're going to knock off another 7 3A team like they've done in the past. I don't think that's going to happen this week. I think Jaquan Smith's going to have a massive game. I think Sebastian Irons is going to have a good passing game. I think Bluff's going to roll in this one.
You know what? I agree. I think Bluff's going to win this game. The defense is just too good. And, GAC's defense is in the bottom 10 in Class 3A. Yes, they play in a very tough region, but, you look at Bluff, I mean, they have some offensive teams that they have to deal with as well. They kind of shut down Dawson County. They, other than the first quarter, they pretty much, kind of manhandled North Hall the rest of that game. They're in they're like fourth in defense in Class 3A. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
I think the defense is going to hold down GAC, and they're gonna find a way to score some points. I don't know. I don't know if I see a blowout, but I think Bluff will win this game by 1 or 2 touchdowns.
I'm going to go with Bluff too. I think they'll get Jake one back on the run. I think they'll get that run game going. And, from what we've seen, if that happens to, either slow or not quite get where they want, we've seen Iron's ability to pass and have open receivers and win the game that way. I'm taking Bluff in this one.
Okay, sticking in with 7-3A, Sandy Creek traveling up to Dawsonville. Jeff's going to have coverage of that game on Access for us this week. Sandy Creek and Dawson County, its region. It's the 5-3 seed versus the 7-2 seed in this one. Dawson coming off, as we've said a couple times, a big win over North Hall and is still that number 2 seed up. Jeff, Sandy Creek beats Cedar Grove in the regular season finale. I'm not sure which team you want out of Region 5, but the Tigers get Sandy Creek.
God bless them. Look,
you're lost for words.
Because looking at it, they're 9-1 and they're a 3 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, because there was a 3-way tiebreaker, and somehow they finished 3.
Head, plus or minus 15
I don't know
is
how,
what I was told.
you just got to go, man. I mean, it's just brutal how tough that region is. But look, Dawson County is 6-1 since an 0-3 start. We've all talked about how improved that defense is. In some of the games that we've covered them in past years, the defense has been the issue. They've scored. They've been able to move the ball. They just couldn't stop anybody. They can stop people. I mean, they stopped a balanced attack like Cherokee Bluff. They held down a massive running game. The state's leading rushing team in North Hall held them to under 100 yards. I being at home, being inspired, knowing that they have absolutely nothing to lose. Dawson County can win this game, but it's going. They can't have Zach Holtzclaw throwing pick sixes like he did last year in the playoffs. You can't do that. But they haven't really been doing that much lately. They've really cut down on the turnovers. They've cut down on the penalties. They're moving. They're not explosive like they have been in the past few years. But I really think the defense is kind of carrying this. But the defense has got a tough job. Junior quarterback Gamir Latimer, 39 touchdowns combined this year, 28 passing TDs, 11 rushing TDs. They are going to have.
So who do you think is going to win it?
Look, I think Dawson. This is similar to North Hall.
Yeah.
I think they can be in the game, but Sandy Creek. Look, they knocked off number 1 Cedar Grove. I'm going to have to go with Sandy Creek. But I think Dawson can win this game if they put everything together.
Well, Caleb, all I can tell you is that the Tigers are going to see a heavy passing game, which I don't think they've seen a truly massively heavy passing game this season like they're going to see against Sandy Creek. You were talking about the Latimer kid, the junior quarterback, 2,638 passing yards. He's thrown for 28 touchdowns. I mean, it's going to be insane. If you look at the rushing stats, season totals only 1,297 total rushing yards for the entire team, 540 of those coming from Graham. He's also a senior. I believe that the passing game is going to be too fierce for this Tiger defense, and I think Sandy Creek's probably going to win this game or will win this game in Dawsonville.
Yeah, Dawson County has been such an improved team. They've been can't say enough about their effort, especially defensively against North Hall last week. This team has come a long way, but sometimes you just get a brutal draw in the first round of the playoffs, and it's not your fault, and there's nothing you can do about it. This Sandy Creek team is the type of team you should be playing on the road in the state quarterfinals, not at home in round number 1. Sandy Creek is who I've got in this one.
I'm going to have to make it a all-around four-way go for it. Clean sweep, yeah. Thank you for as I ramble trying to find the word.
Imagine if you were Dawson County like you are in the NCAA basketball thing, and you find out, yay, we get Sandy Creek.
Look,
We don't get Cedar Grove.
look, we
that's just
all
ridiculous.
know here that Region 5, like Caleb set it up
Yeah.
earlier, is one of the top 2 best regions
Yeah.
in the state
It's
in Class
ridiculous.
3A, maybe
It's
in all of
ridiculous.
classifications 2, 3, 6. All right, let's check our final game. Flowery Branch at Mays. That one's played at Lakewood Stadium. Going to be an 8 p.m. kickoff. You can hear that one live on AM 550 WDUN. Now, talked to Coach Hall earlier this week, and everybody like Horace G on our broadcast team for 550 sends me a text. What's a 3-6 team doing in the playoffs? And so I said the same thing to myself. I'm like, 3-6.
Yeah.
Let's go take a look. Called Coach Hall. I said, Coach, 3-6 team. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't looked at their schedule and who they've played. I know who's in the region. I know they're with Marist. I get that. But 3-6, he goes, don't let the record fool you. I went back and did a little research, added the wins and losses together, and of the 6 losses in a combined win-loss total, 44-13. That's including playing Westlake, I think, who's 6A, number 2 seed of their region, region champs. Of course, Marist, region champs,
Right.
and then another couple teams that were,
they
up
had
there at the top, of their classification. So this is going to be a really tough game for Flowery Branch. However, Flowery Branch has been playing some really good football, and you got to give them credit to that. Everybody thinks because they dropped the first 2 in region play to Flowery Branch and North Oconee, this team's done. Well, hey, let's go back and look. Jefferson was number 1. North Oconee, really good defense there against, Flowery Branch. I mean, you see what happened. North Oconee knocked off Jefferson for the region championship, and then Flowery Branch took care of business the final, 4 games of the season, scoring almost 40 points a game. Defense was playing well. They have played well all season. I think Flowery Branch has a really good shot at beating Mays this week, and for that reason, I'm going to open the picks and say go Falcons.
Look, I'll go next. I also believe Flowery Branch is going to win this game. Yeah, that looking at some of the stats on Mays, you're not going to be that impressed. They've only averaged 14.2 points a game, but you look at the teams they played. I mean, that's probably pretty good when you look at Westlake and Marist and the rest of the crowd that they played. But here's the thing: they've only allowed 15.5 points per game, and they've won 4 straight coming down the stretch. But I'm going to go to this stat. 8-4A last year, playing another tough opening round, went 3-1. 8-4A can hold its own. And I look for Flowery Branch to win this game. I don't think it's going to be the cakewalk. People are going to look at that record and go, oh, they should roll in this thing. It's going to be it's on the road. That's probably going to be a crazy place down there. But I think Flowery Branch, and they're kicking off, at 8 o'clock?
Yes.
So they're having to wait a little bit extra. They're going to, we were talking to them about, when do you leave? Because there's another game, I think Banks County is playing down there in the 8-2A game before that game. So you got another game. You got to get down there. It's going to be a wild night. But I think Flowery Branch
and
is
they
going to be
can't
up
get in the
to,
locker room till 7:30.
Yeah. Jeez. I mean, there's a lot going on with that. But I think that, I think this is a team. They got a lot of experience on this team. I think that they can pull this off. It's going to be close, but I think they'll win this game.
Yeah, Flowery Branch's defense is really good. They had basically, when you look at Flowery Branch's schedule, there's only one bad defensive performance you could even point to. That was the Gainesville game back early in the season. They held Jefferson to 27. They held North Oconee to 14. Defense, they held St. Pius, who was a top 10 ranked team in Class 5A, to 14 points. And I believe one of those touchdowns St. Pius scored was a defensive touchdown.
And they came from 14 down to win that game too.
Flowery Branch's defense is really, really good. They're going to have to bring it because Mays is going to be athletic. They're going to be able to, they put, I think, 22 points on the board against Marist, and we all know how good Marist has traditionally been defensively. So they'll have to bring it. There's no doubt about it. But I like Flowery Branch in this one too.
As do I. I like Flowery Branch in this one. Like we've all been saying, they've been playing really good football lately, and I'm a big fan of that team. I'm a big fan of David Renard as well. Talked to him a lot. I think he'll get it done. I think he and the Falcons will get it done.
Falcons clean sweep in this one. All right, let's start with the rest of the teams in the rundown portion of the Pick'em Show. We'll start with the Panthers, who get in as the 4 seed, Jackson County Panthers, who get in as the 4 seed from Region 8. They'll be traveling down to Villa Rica, Region 6, number 1 seed, but have a pretty decent shot of maybe being that 4 seed that pulls the upset in the first round. What you got, Jeff?
These are two similar teams. Neither one of them have been in the playoffs much. They don't have a lot of history. I know Villa Rica won that region. That's not a real good region. I think Jackson County is way better than their record indicates. I think they had 2 games where they kind of just fell apart, but for the rest of the season, they have played everybody tough. I'm going with Jackson County as a 4 seed on the road against a region champ to pull this one out. I think they can pull the upset.
A blocked punt return for a touchdown by Appalachia and a late interception when Jackson County was trying to drive and take the ball was all that separated Jackson County from beating Appalachia and potentially taking the 3 seed or maybe even the 2 seed in this region. Jackson County's better than the record indicates, like Jeff said. I think they're going to pull the upset, taking the Panthers.
Panthers as well.
No, I completely agree with you. I think Jackson County this season they've gone through plenty of bumps in the road throughout the season. They've learned a lot this season. They've improved while losing some games as well. I think Jackson County goes down to Villa Rica and marches right into the second round of the 5A playoff. Jackson County has my pick this week. Class 4A, Hapeville is traveling up to Jefferson, Region 6. 3 seed versus the Region 8 number 2 seed. Jefferson, I believe, is going to roll in this one.
You want some butter with that roll?
Please.
I'll take Jefferson too. They're starting to slowly but surely get healthy. They're looking better and better. Their defense is still really good. Malachi Starks looks like he's back at full strength. Still waiting to see, I think, on Sammy Brown at this point, but they're starting to get back to full strength, and when they do, they are going to be very tough for anybody in 4A to deal with. Don't let that game against North Oconee scare you too much. It's still a really good team, and I agree with Bo. I think they're going to roll against Hapeville.
I'll send you some butter later.
Making me hungry again. I agree. I think Jefferson's going to win this game. Look, Sammy Brown, you mentioned Sammy Brown. I think he's close to being back. I would not be surprised if we see him next week. Now, he might be a little out of football shape, but he's certainly not going to be banged up like a whole season. And a fresh Sammy Brown, that changes the entire equation for Jefferson. But they're without Max Aldridge, their quarterback, who spelled in really well. That me and Seth both, when we saw them against Rabun, we kind of thought he allowed Jefferson to do some things on defense against Rabun that made a difference. And not having him as a backup, well, that's going to play down the road. But right now in the first round, Jefferson has too much. They're still piling up 300 yards a game on the ground against everybody, no matter who's in the lineup. I think they roll. But, if they can get Sammy Brown back, I don't know if they can win the state.
So you pick Jefferson?
Yes. I don't think Jefferson can win. Yeah, everybody picked Jefferson.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't pick yet.
I didn't think you did.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, that's
you
why
said
I was
butter
like,
with the roll.
What you got?
Oh, okay.
What you got?
I just commented on Bo's thing, but I do pick Jefferson.
Okay, there you go.
I do pick Jefferson.
Okay.
I will participate in the roll and the the Thank you very much.
Let's roll. Speaking of roll, let's roll down to Class 2A.
Good one.
Pace Academy's going to travel to Rabun County or in the first round. This is the second meeting between the two teams this season. Was the first one in Tiger?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So 2 trips for Pace Academy.
I think they know the way now.
They do know the mountains. Region 6, 4 seed versus Region 8, 1 seed. Rabun County, give me some butter, Seth, because they're going to roll again.
Hey, I think we could keep going with this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and I think the only question is, will Gunner get his
wheat or
amount?
white? That's the only question for the
that
roll.
it?
Yeah.
Oh,
white or wheat? Roll.
White.
That's the only
White.
That's the only question.
Definitely white.
What
So
you got?
I'm going with Rabun. Well, how many yards will Stockton get to keep his pace to try to get the whole thing?
Rabun as well.
Rabun as well. Union County at Lovett, Region 8, 3 seed versus Region 6, 2 seed.
Boy, Lovett's pretty good.
Lovett's going to win this one.
Yeah. They're actually number 2 seed, and I think they're better than their record indicates. Union is really,
although I was told they're not as good as a Lovett teams from the past. So, but Lovett's going to win this first.
Yeah,
round.
I think Lovett's going to win this one. But Union County's really started to. They've kind of come on the last third of the season. For new coach Michael Perry. I think this is going to give them a lot to build on.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to lose, they're going to lose the quarterback to graduation. They're going to have to find somebody. But this is the kind of game, a good showing here can help build the program for the future.
I'm taking Lovett also.
Love it.
Banks County at South Atlanta, the 4 seed out of Region 8 versus the 1 seed out of Region 6. South Atlanta will win this game at Lakewood Stadium.
Agreed.
I think so.
Okay.
Taking the Hornets.
I have no clue about Sherwood Christian versus Lanier Christian, but I do know that Lanier Christian can score like 70,000 points in the drop of a bucket, so I'm going to go with LCA in this one.
Well, I can give you some stuff on that if you're interested.
Nah, just pick.
I'm going to take LCA.
Okay.
No, just pick.
I'm taking LCA too.
Trying to move here. Trying to move. Class.
If you're interested, no.
Let's move to our Saturday portion.
I pick LCA,
of
by the way.
Of the play. Oh, I thought you said LCA.
No.
Saturday portion.
Wait, did you say LCA?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, just making sure.
Saturday portion of the playoffs. Class 6A, Kell at Buford. Region 6, 4 seed versus Region 8, 1 seed. Once again, Seth, give me some butter because Buford's going to roll.
I'm going to bring a tub of butter.
Yeah.
No, you're
For the
going to
next
need
show.
some after this week.
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just I'm gonna be. They're gonna get mad at me because I'm just gonna be throwing friggin' buttered rolls around this room, and I'm not gonna clean it up.
Maybe we get Texas Roadhouse to sponsor this show for that. Yeah,
That would be.
All right,
except,
Caleb, what you
except
got?
we'd have to mail them to Caleb.
I'll take it.
We
Listen,
can
I'll
watch
take
it.
him
We
in
can
the
like
dough
watch
box,
him
whatever
open the
he needs to
FedEx
do.
box. We can watch him open the FedEx box of Texas Roadhouse rolls.
what you got, Caleb?
I'll eat them right here on this show if you get them to me. I'll definitely do that. No, I'm going to take.
See, I'm surprised by that.
Let him pick. What you
took
got?
Buford.
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 Okay.
Buford.
Our final pick of the day, Commerce, Region 8, 4 seed at Bowden, Region 6, 1 seed, a 7 p.m. start at Bowden, Class A Public. What you got, Jeff?
Why you start with me in this one?
I don't know.
Oh, man. Look, this
You're
is.
kind of right next to
I
him.
think this is the first time Commerce is a 4 seed since they got rid of the power rankings, and that's a tough 4 draw if you're Bowden because
It was a tough region.
Yeah, Commerce could easily, if they had a little better game against Lincoln, they would have been the region champs. So I'm going to take Commerce on the road. Bowden's pretty good. They're 9-1. They're 9-1. But they're just 1-3 in their last 4 home games. So I'm gonna go with Commerce and Jaden Daniels. I see a big game for him.
I'm taking Commerce too.
I'll take Commerce.
I was going to say go Tigers in that one as well. Commerce going to be that 4 seed that pulls the upset over a 1 seed in the first round of the playoffs. All right, guys. First round playoffs, what do you hope to see? Jeff?
Why you always start with me?
Caleb?
Okay, go with Caleb first. There you
Fine.
go.
You don't want it. Caleb has it.
I want to see Flowery Branch's defense against Mays' offense in that Class 4A game.
Yeah, I want to see what Flowery Branch does as well in that 4A game coming up on Friday. That one, to me, is going to be very interesting. And what, do you want to see White County?
No, I'm just saying we didn't pick that one.
Which one?
White County.
Did we not do White County at Cedar Grove? I thought we did.
No.
No.
Cedar Grove.
Cedar Grove.
Cedar
Okay.
Grove.
I thought
Okay.
maybe you were just, trying to.
So sorry.
You know.
But yeah, I want to see what Flowery Branch's defense does against Mays in that game because I really think Flowery Branch is going to win it and move on to the second round. But I want to see what happens in that game or hear it, I guess, because it's going to be on the radio. Jeff, are you ready?
I'm probably.
Okay, go ahead.
Maybe, probably. I tell you what, I'm looking at North Hall.
Okay.
Seth picked the upset here. I want to see. I'd want to see how big of a game Jeremiah Thielander can have, how much of an impact, and if they can get that ground game growing, this would be a huge upset.
Huge.
Because just of how 3A is stacked.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something tells me North Hall can win this game if they just cut down on the mistakes. I want to see if they can get that going a little bit. And, Jefferson, I want to see how healthy they are before and after this game.
What do you think, Seth?
I'm right there with you on Jefferson. Let's see how healthy they are, and let's see what they're gonna do. I'm excited to be at that GAC Cherokee Bluff game. I'm very excited to be at that to see how Cherokee Bluff walks out on that field against a team that a lot of other people in this region and classification fear.
You know what? This is coming from a North Hall guy.
Yeah, this is coming from me.
This is personal for you.
And this time it's personal. Like, not really. I can't be like that.
All right, guys.
Look, those guys at GAC, they watch our shows now, so you got to be nice to them.
All right.
We love you guys.
I'm not mean to them. It's just that was just funny.
Okay,
But,
guys, we need to wrap up here. Radio games this week: GAC at Cherokee Bluff on 102.9, on AM 550 Flowery Branch at Mays, and on 94.5 The Lake, North Hall at Carver. Again, all of these games or previews will be up to, well, you can go look at the previews right now. They're already up.
They're already up.
You go check the previews out and check out the games and location times and everywhere as we wrap the show up today. For Caleb, Jeff, and Seth, I'm Bo. Enjoy the first round of the GHSA State Playoffs.